So, the Las Vegas Raiders have an interview with Kliff Kingsbury scheduled. First with the Raiders, they finally hired Antonio Pierce. I mean, when your two star players and Max Crosby and Devontae Adams essentially tell the team, hire my dude or shit me out, they're kind of in a tough place and their hand was kind of forced, but regardless, Antonio Pierce is the head coach of the Raiders, for better or worse. We'll see how he does. I think in order to succeed, he's going to need a hell of a supporting staff. First time head coach, essentially, with a division of Sean Payton, potentially Jim Harbaugh, and Andy Reid. So I would say he's absolutely outgunned in the coaching department and experience, but still, that doesn't mean he's going to totally fail, but he's going to need some help. I think Kliff Kingsbury would be a good hire. Say what you want about him. I know everyone's not a huge fan of him, especially when he got the Cardinals gig. I know in college he had a record below 500, and it is what it is, but he did have an offensive showing in college, like most coaches. What he did with Arizona, with Kyler, I thought for the most part it was pretty efficient offensively. As a whole head coach, I kind of have my reservations about him, but just focusing on the offense and what he did with the Cardinals and Kyler, I think he did some interesting things, and I think it was more or less a successful run. Now, what he would bring with the Raiders would be something they desperately need. I think Kliff can definitely elevate a quarterback's play. I think the Raiders just need to find a guy, because I don't know if Aiden O'Connell is the guy going forward. I think, honestly, if Kliff and Aiden ran it from the start in 2024, I think they would finish a couple games below 500 maybe, but again, I don't know about Aiden O'Connell, and I'm sure many Raiders fans agree with that. So they would obviously have to draft someone or find someone via free agency. Russell Wilson would be interesting with Kliff. I just think two highly motivated guys, Kliff got ousted with the Cardinals. I know it was kind of ugly back then. And then obviously Russell, it got ugly with his tenure with the Broncos. I know he still has to get cut or traded, but he would be very motivated. They'd both be very motivated to get a lot of stuff done. But I think the dream scenario with Kliff and the Raiders would be to get Justin Fields. A mobile quarterback with Kliff, like Kyler was, I just think that's when his offenses work best. And to get a pure runner like Justin Fields, I think that would be quite a show. It would kind of be like exactly what he did in Arizona. I mean, they're both dome teams. You still have Devontae Adams. Josh Jacobs is a good back. Jacoby Myers is solid. Michael Mayer has potential. I think that would be the dream scenario. But regardless, Antonio Pierce and the Raiders, they need a high IQ offensive mind. Because Antonio Pierce, that's not his specialty. He played on defense. He works with the defense. That's his specialty. So they really need to nail this hiring if they want to make any waves in 2024. The Raiders also have an interview scheduled with Luke Getsy, formerly the Bears' Chicago OC. Again, that would be interesting. Another link to Justin Fields, so that's something to look out for. If I were the Raiders, man, I would be praying, cross my fingers, doing whatever you got to do for Justin Fields to come to Oakland. I think it's possible. you know, an NFC team to an AFC team, they're obviously going to want to ship him out of the conference. I think it's a very possible scenario. And last but maybe least, they're interviewing the quarterback coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Sullivan. I think that'd be worst case scenario. Everyone and their mom has seen how poorly the Steelers offense has been the past few years. I mean, that would be a pretty depressing hire. That would be probably the second most depressing hire other than the Tennessee Titans hiring the Bengals OC so far. Yeah, if that were to happen, I definitely would not have a lot of faith in the Las Vegas Raiders heading into this year. That'd be pretty scary hours, but that's pretty much it for OCs. As far as the draft for Oakland, they have the 13th overall pick, so it's not terrible. That means they're in striking range to potentially move up in the drafts, or who knows, maybe someone will fall to them. Michael Penix potentially could be a guy, but I would say they have to jump the Broncos in order to do that. Who knows? Maybe they'll get really aggressive and try to get in the top 5. I doubt they get, you know, a guy like Drake May, because I think he's going to probably Washington or the Patriots. But Michael Penix is a guy I would be looking out for. But regardless, Las Vegas needs to do a lot of work in the offseason regarding the offense. They need to get an OC. They need to get a quarterback. 2 very, very important things. Everything else is pretty much good to go. Like I said, you got some receivers, you got a tight end, you got a running back. So, Las Vegas Raiders fans, what do you think about Kliff coming to the Raiders potentially? What do you think about Luke Getsy maybe coming to the Raiders, or maybe Mike Sullivan, Justin Fields? Let me know what you think. That's all I got. Peace.
Teams in the NFL spend about 30-40% of their time all week long practicing plays in the red zone. So there's a lot they can do here. Let's see if the Chargers for this final snap. So for Bill Sims and all the crew at EA Sports, Jim Nance saying so long for now.